For those of you who have received your wine kits, please go ahead and open your samples now and pre-pour them. This is an interactive session, so make sure and have those wines ready as we cover them in this presentation. Rest assured, this webinar is being recorded, and we will send you the link in the next few days. Give us a couple of days to process the video and post the link, and you will be getting an email with access to that video. We also do ask you to fill out the survey that we'll be sending out as well after the webinar. It helps us make these events better and better each time, and we love to know what's working and what we can improve on. Well, one more thing about housekeeping that I did want to cover. We will be making use of the Q&A function today in Zoom. So if you do have any questions or comments during the webinar, please use the Q&A function. It is being monitored, and we do have a Q&A session at the end of this webinar where we'll answer your most burning questions. Okay, so now it is my great pleasure to introduce Dane Chasen, Rioja U.S. Trade Ambassador, Program Director, I should say. And she would like to say a couple of words before we introduce our host for today. Dane, welcome.
Hey, thanks, Christian. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take a minute and welcome everybody on behalf of the DOC Rioja and their U.S. campaign. We really appreciate y'all taking the time today to learn a little bit more about Rioja and our world-class wines. So after this wonderful tasting, if you're interested in learning a bit more information on Rioja, I highly encourage y'all to check out the Rioja Wine Academy. There you'll get even more information and some in-depth coursework. So once again, thanks so much for joining. Thank you, Christian, and the team at the Napa Valley Wine Academy. You guys are awesome. And also thank you to Kryss Speegle, Master of Wine, who is taking us on this journey today through Rioja, Tempranillo, and beyond. So everybody enjoy.
Thanks so much, Dane. So it is my great pleasure to introduce today Master of Wine, Kryss Speegle, close friend of mine, former study partner. She has traveled the world learning about wine, has worked harvests and made wine all over the world. So if being a master of wine isn't accomplishment enough, she is also a very accomplished winemaker. So it's my great pleasure today to introduce Kryss. Kryss, welcome.
Thanks, Christian. Thanks, Dane and the Napa Valley Wine Academy, and thanks to DOC Rioja, and thanks to all of you for being here today. You can see me, but I can't see you. One thing I'd like to tell you about me is there are two things I really love. One is the tradition and traditional and time honored, and the other is the emergent. So it's very fortunate that I can speak with you about Rioja today because it's a region that encapsulates both of those things. And the emergent side is something that not everyone has the opportunity to learn a lot about, but you have that opportunity today. So we'll be talking about some exciting developments. And for those of you who have the wine kits, we'll be tasting some great wines. The objective today is to understand the increasing diversity of grapes and styles in Rioja. We will be approaching this through a grape variety lens, but we'll talk a little bit about a few other things going on, particularly new directions in site selection and region. I want to point out as we get started that when a lot of people talk about changes or developments in classic regions, they use the word modernization. And that is a unidirectional word. It suggests that something old is becoming new or is changing. And that's not the case here because the wonderful time-honored methods of making Rioja, the vinification and the aging that you know and love are still in place. They're not going anywhere. But what's happening is an expansion of the region and its styles, a diversification. And overall, that elevates the entire profile of the region because it gives so much more to the consumer. So it keeps the classics and that top quality and those very special aged wines that you know, and then it adds these new elements.